Next game on the list, this is just what the doctor ordered. San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Jets. Just what the doctor ordered for the San Francisco 49ers. Look, tough week. Arizona, I was not surprised at all that Arizona covered that spread. Not surprised that they won. Arizona's a strong team. San Francisco, they had opportunities, but they have no freaking receivers to throw to. We'll see what happens when, who's active and who's not and so on. San Francisco, projections. Garoppolo I have as a start. Mostert is a start. People have been ignoring him. Not me and you, David. People have been ignoring Mostert for crying out loud. Why would you do that? Jerick McKinnon is obviously a bigger part of the offense there than Tevin Coleman. You mentioned that last week. That was confirmed this week. Receiver, just stay away until we get some answers there and some starts. Golly, that's a tough one. And then Kittle, assuming health is just fine there. New York Jets, I mean, Bell pulls his hamstring. I'm staying away from everybody on the Jets not named Jamison Crowder at this point. The only reason I'm starting Jamison Crowder is because they're going to get at least 150 yards of offense. Probably 125 of that's going to be Crowder next week. Because who else are they going to throw to? So there you go. Take it away, David.
I'm going to start with the Jets because I don't have a whole lot to say on them there. But you talk about Crowder. This information I got from JJ Zacharias, and however you say his last name on Twitter. He posted a little sheet of the top market shares of targets for – this was through the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, so it doesn't include the last night's Sunday night game or either the 2 Monday night games that happened tonight. Jamison Crowder, number 3 on the list in the NFL in target share. He had 39.39% of the targets.
Wow.
The only guys who had a higher percentage of their team targets through those 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock games, DeAndre Hopkins, who had 44% of the targets, and Devontae Adams, 41.46% of targets. Other than Hopkins and Adams, nobody was getting targeted more often relative to their team than Jamison Crowder. So you talk about it. I mean, I probably wish I had gotten a few more Jamison Crowder shares. He was hyped up as like the sleeper wide receiver, the last resort guy. And he still didn't go high in fantasy drafts. Right. I think we just kind of overthought it with Perriman and Mims.
People hate the Jets. I mean, the NFL, people hate the Jets. And by the way, the Jets defense was a top 10 defense. We talked about this. Like, people hate the Jets. You got to know where the value is. In the system, talking about Crowder, this is the offensive system. Adam Gase, that slot receiver that sprung Jarvis Landry. I mean, there's a history of performance here, and there's a history of performance with Crowder and Dalton. Not Dalton. Is it? No,
Darnold.
Not Andy Dalton. Darnold. I can never. Sometimes I call him Sam Bradford. Now I'm calling him Andy Dalton. What the hell? I was calling Jalen Reagor Ronald Reagan last week.
But really, that's the only Jet you care about, except for one other guy. And it felt kind of like I took an L this week with Chris Herndon.
Yeah.
But he caught 6 passes for 39 yards.
Yeah.
I've been hyping him up all year. This wasn't supposed to be a good game for him. You look at what he did against Buffalo as a rookie when he was healthy. He didn't play well. This was a tough matchup last year against tight ends fantasy-wise. He came out of it the second most targeted receiver, saw 21% of the targets. He's healthy. 6 receptions, 39 yards. I mean, you can do worse than getting 9 points from your tight end in a bad game. I think he's going to go under the radar on the waiver wire a little bit this week. Don't let that happen. Pick him up if you need a tight end because 6 for 39, that's a pretty good bad game for Chris Herndon.
Yep, completely.
And then I want to
I was going to say completely
about the other side. Yeah. Raheem Mostert, man, was I victory lapping that. Like, we talk about the one thing that was holding Raheem Mostert back. Like, he had league-winning potential already as a fifth-round pick, just being a potential 1,200-yard rusher, 10-touchdown guy. He wasn't going to see a high reception total. That was the only thing putting a cap on his upside. He was the leading receiver week 1. The leading receiver for this team. 4 for 95 and a touchdown. It's not that he can't do it. It's just they didn't need him to do it last year. The wide receivers are banged up. Debo's missing at least the first 3 games on IR. Ayuk already missed the first game. He's a rookie. Kendrick Bourne didn't do anything. He looked terrible, to put it quite frankly. Trent Taylor, 2 receptions. Like, Raheem Mostert, now that Shanahan's going to start manufacturing receptions for this guy, like, I want to put him in my top 8 running backs going forward. Like, this guy's a league winner at this point.
Yeah.
And look at the schedule. Look at the schedule going forward. It doesn't get any harder. It's an easy schedule.
I hope listeners of the show and readers of the Almanac listens when we said, hey, draft Mostert. He's slipping into the 7th round. I got him in the 7th round in a 10-team format. Man, yeah, so he's slam dunk. I mean, I'm happy with what I got. By the way, if you're a stat line reader and not a game watcher, that game could have been even bigger for Raheem Mostert. He was the touchdown that Jerick McKinnon got. The play right before that, or maybe 2 plays before that, Mostert ran a wheel route, and he was bumped about 5 yards in the line of scrimmage by the linebacker, whoever it was, sprung open. The play was designed for him. Garoppolo left him too quick. There was nobody in the freaking back corner of the end zone, and the play was designed for him. It got exactly what he wanted. Garoppolo moved through his projection too quickly. Wide open touchdown. Raheem Mostert doing one of these in the back of the end zone. Should have gotten that touchdown as well. The scheme was there. The play was there. The opportunity was there. Didn't get it. Ended up throwing an interception. And McKinnon, basically on that same exact play, 2 plays later, got the touchdown. So Mostert's the guy. Yeah, you might see the stat sheet, and McKinnon got the touchdown. That should have gone to Mostert, but that's going to happen. There will be games where McKinnon will get, or Mostert will get a touchdown that should have gone to McKinnon and whatever. But the bottom line here is those 2 running backs will have value. Mostert's a beast. So
let me hit on that one more time, because Jerick McKinnon is the RB2 to own in San Francisco.
Yep.
Tevin Coleman, he's nothing but a handcuff. I know. In California, week 1, it had a lot to do with the wildfire, the air quality, and a lot of people are going to use that as justification. Oh, Tevin Coleman's still going to have a role. I don't believe it. He hasn't been good for the past 2 years. He's averaged, I believe, 1.8 and 1.4 yards after contact. Very subpar numbers. He doesn't make anything happen for himself. And the thing with McKinnon that sets him apart, and we saw it week 1, they can flex him out to the slot. He played, I believe, 4 or 5 snaps flexed out, especially with these wide receivers, hurt, young. He had 3 receptions week 1. Jerick McKinnon, Kyle Shanahan has supported 2 running backs in the past to be fantasy starters. You look at that 2016 Atlanta offense with Tevin Coleman, coincidentally, and Devontae Freeman. Freeman was the number 1 running back that year. Coleman was also, I believe, top 24. I don't think Coleman's going to be that second guy. McKinnon, I think, can produce that Coleman-level production that we saw in Atlanta as the number 2 guy, as a guy who can catch the ball.
Absolutely. Mostert, everybody, guys, he held out for about 15 minutes, guys. I mean, and then his draft stock plummeted 4 rounds when he did that. It was unreal. It was like the biggest value. He's going to be everybody's, like, you keep that one keeper in the round that you drafted. He's going to be everybody's keeper that drafted Mostert. I mean, he's the best running back in a Shanahan offense, the most explosive running back. It boggles the mind, David. But let me hit you with the line here. San Francisco -7 versus New York Jets.
Give me San Francisco -15.
But I'm curious. I actually have this game marked as 30-10. San Francisco comes back in a big way. I think we'll see 2 wide receiver sets. I think we'll see McKinnon in the slot because San Francisco has got a manufacture offense. The passing game was hurting. Teams can roll up their coverage on Kittle if they don't watch it. McKinnon will keep teams honest there. And both running backs are starts and so on and so forth. I'm taking San Francisco, too, to bounce back in a big way.